Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning, guys.
Thanks for
Good morning.
So, just my background as well. So I do marketing for Google. So I'm coming in with the perspective of how we build brands. But similarly, when we think about brands, it's like personality. It's what you stand for, what makes you unique, and who you are. So, my first question to everyone is how did you go about? What is your personal brand, and how did you go about shaping that?
I think it's very important to start with yourself, like with everything. Really kind of hone in on your own personality, your passion, what do you feverishly, are interested in, and then from there decide how can you establish this eventually as a brand without losing too much of yourself. So it really starts with the love that you can put into something.
I guess for me, I come from another side of things where I build other people's brands. So I guess as Erwan said, it has to start with that someone. I mean, you're selling yourself. I mean, that's what a personal brand is. You have whatever you do and whatever you don't do has an impact. So if you have to decide who you are and what kind of voice you will have.
Hey, good morning. A lot of familiar faces in the audience. So recognizable, you guys. Thank you for coming. For me, I kind of discovered Pinoy Boy. He just kind of came into being because a viral video went, viral. And then, so for me, it was just really finding the core beliefs of a Filipino. So, we're very conservative, we pray before we eat, things like that. So I think in creating a brand, the one thing to remember is to have a set of dogma, like your set of beliefs and values, and you just stick to that religiously. And then eventually your brand will just kind of come into being.
A great point. I want to add to that. So for you, it starts with who you are. The authenticity has to come out. But as you said, you have this dogma or principles that you follow. I guess my question there is, at the very start, did you start off with your list of principles, or how did that evolve over time?
I think, I don't know if I speak for everyone, but most people that do start creating videos is mostly because they feel that they have something to share and a story to tell. And usually when you have that, there's no lists of rules, there is no grand ambition, there is no massive goal, that's far away. It's mostly about just how can I really tell this story as authentically as possible. And then eventually as you grow, you see how people interact, engage with your content, how people think about you, how people think you project yourself, and then eventually you start putting, best use practices basically in how you create things.
Yeah, I think to add to that, when you create yourself, you yourself are the brand, and you have to think like a brand. And so if you look at the best brands, well, Mikey's dogma, we do, for us, it's more like a pyramid, like a marketing pyramid. I'm sure you know that. But so usually you have to have some sort of mission, vision. Dogma. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just different. Yeah, because you have to know, whatever you do has to fit that. And if it's something that doesn't fit that, then you just don't do it. Simple as that.
It's a simple yes or no. Let's say you get a brand endorsement that doesn't match your brand, then it's a simple no. You really have to stick with it. You can't sell out.
You force it.
Yeah, you sometimes have to sacrifice material, or certain topic. In my case, certain topics were trending at the time, but they weren't exactly Filipino friendly or conservative, which Pinoy Boy was. So I didn't touch it, even though I sacrificed possible views for it, right? But in the end, it pays off because your brand becomes more and more solid the more in line every video you release is to your creed, correct?
No, so a perfect point. Because as a brand, right, the stuff that you use, the stuff that you endorse, actually is an extension of who you are as a brand. So I just want to ask as well, do you have any tips in terms of working with brands? How do you get the conversation started? How do you get into that part of your YouTube persona?
I believe it's really important before even starting to work with brands is you already established in who you are, how you want to be portrayed, and what you create. A brand will only take you seriously if you can sit in front of them and kind of tell them what your ideas are, who you represent, and how you can better serve the brand and how you can integrate that in your content. How I've done things over the past couple of years is I don't necessarily wait for brands to approach me, is I create ideas that I get excited about and things that I want to do personally, and then think, all right, how can I monetize this by putting it in front of a brand that I think could fit this really well, and approach them already with ideas on how we can integrate it. If a brand comes to you, or if you're talking to a brand, most of the time is you're there as not only a distribution platform, you're there not only as a production platform, but you're also there as a creative. So you need to be able to wear all those different hats and prove to them that you have the confidence to kind of see things through from A to Z.
No, that's interesting because I like what you said. It's not about brands approaching you, but thinking about ideas that excite you and represents also consistently with who you are. So I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny that, because even us, we have so much ideas that we put together, and when a brand that we feel fits that idea, then we share it with that brand and we work with that brand. I guess another thing would be you have to use your network. Everyone has a network, everyone has friends, family, neighbors. So I learned from Erwan, that you have to, Erwan does cold calls, literally, no one does that here, but he would go to a brand and present. And I think sometimes the worst thing that can happen is they say no. And you have to learn, that's okay, but if you build your personal brand, you build more opportunities. So, yeah.
I think one of the hardest parts is when you first start working with brands, because you don't really have any past branded content to prove that you're a good and effective endorser. So for your first few endorsements, if you can, try to fight for as much of your input and creativity as possible. Don't let them say and overbrand your video and all of this. You want your video to still be said in your voice, and it has to follow your creed as well. And once you have those 2 or 3 videos that have done well with your audience, because it's in alignment with your other material, then you have more power to go to these other brands and say, listen, I don't think this will work with my channel. I think it's too branded. Let's do it this way. And I have some videos in the past to prove it. So I think that's the hardest. It's critical, your first few endorsements, that it's really in your own voice, and you kind of call the shots as much as you can. So that's really the hardest. Another tip is to make sure you put in a contract how many edits you want. Make sure, gosh, yeah, otherwise it'll be half a year before your video comes out.
Oh, maybe just to add to everything, just and me and Daniel Marsh we were we were talking about this. There's this Puff Daddy, apparently it's Biggie or whatever. Anyway, it's chase the dream, don't chase the paper. It's not about the money, guys. The money will come. You have to build your brand first. If you're working with brands, you have to do what Mikey says, that hey, you have to build your brand working relationship, or whatever you call it, first. Even if they shine a lot of money, again, unless it's a lot of money, then you figure it out. But if it's that's right. And you have to put value in everything that you do, because everything that you do has value. So you have to remember that anything that we do is work, and so that has value. So you have to properly, or at least know how to value it.
It's really important as well that to note that in the beginning you have to be ready to lose money, whether it's time, whether it's actual money, physical money, because you need that proof of concept. So it's not like you're gonna make money overnight. I lost so much money in the first 2 years, then eventually it started paying off.
Ironically, he makes money on overnight. Serious money. Check it out.
So I just want to add, because that's about partnerships, right? But there's also an aspect of YouTube wherein you're creating your own products or monetizing that within your own channel. Maybe Mikey, you can start things off with that.
There are other ways to make money off YouTube other than viewership and endorsements. You can also, for example, for my Filipino channel, I have a lot of original music, that's comedy, and even serious music. You can sell your stuff on iTunes and stream it on Spotify. So that's one way to make money. As well, if you're a performance-based creator, at your live shows you can sell CDs, right? Just go to Divisoria, you can print it for cheap. and sell it for 3 times the price. Just kidding. And then, you can sell t-shirts, all that kind of merch. If you don't know how to do it yourself, there are tons of companies out there who probably are reaching out to you guys already about helping you launch a merch store. And then for my other channel, I have this thing called antscanada.com, which is about ants, of all things. And it's actually bigger than my Filipino channel. So for that, I have a full-out store. So we manufacture our products in Beijing, and we ship to a fulfillment house in Utah, and then we ship to our customers around the world. And basically, to promote that, I just do a video of my pet ants in those products, and then they do really well. So that's another way to monetize. Just open a store on whatever your business is. It doesn't even have to be arts or vlogging. It can just really be whatever you're passionate about. Sell the stuff. And we're starting now to release a subscription box. So you can do that. There are tons of companies out there looking for creators like yourselves to partner with for subscription boxes. So those are some ways to monetize. Oh, and if you're a performance-based creator as well, touring is a great way, like doing shows around Philippines and abroad.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing like YouTube for a long time now, and trust me, I never made money off of AdSense. But we've made a lot of money on like everything else, and as
A lot of money.
okay, no, just kidding. No, but I mean, what Mike is saying is you have to build other revenue streams. You have to be creative in how you make your money or how you make your living, because all of you guys here, your dream is to make this your life, make this your job, source of income. But don't settle for one source of income within that system. You can build so many other things. When you build your channel, when you have like say hundreds and thousands of subscribers, that's hundreds of thousands of customers. You have to look at it in a very different way.
Yeah, it's all about also finding, I like having a physical representation of the brand, not only on the digital space. So people are on their phones, let's say 50% of the day. At least if you have something physical that's not on a phone, then basically people can see it as well. So whether that's merch or doing demos or just meeting people and doing meet and greets and stuff like that, all those things can kind of help you generate more revenue.
Awesome, thank you. Just one final question, and like, what would be one tip that you would give the rest of the YouTubers here in terms of if they're interested in going into merchandising or maybe working with brands as well or developing their own personal brand? Like, what's the one key takeaway you would want everyone to get from this session?
I think one thing the three of us have in common is that we kind of represent the old guard.
Yeah.
We've been doing YouTube for a while. And when you see everyone that's opening YouTube accounts now, everyone's very young. And we're a generation that's buried in screens all the time, whether it's TV or mobile or anything. But for me, what I've seen, and for these guys as well, is that nothing beats old school networking. Nothing beats going to events and meeting brand managers, meeting agencies, meeting production companies, because they can put a face. Because what you see online isn't necessarily, how 100% of what that person is, right? When you meet someone in real life, you can actually see what they can actually do for you. So I think as much as possible, it's great to post online and stuff, but get out there, get out of your comfort zone, talk to everyone. Like Jako said, the worst thing that can happen is people say no to you. It's like if you hit on a girl at the bar, she says no to you, it's fine. It's a war of attrition. You talk to as many people as possible, get them to say yes eventually.
How many times does that happen to you, Erwan?
Doesn't happen anymore, but it used to apply.
I think, I don't know, one takeaway is do research, YouTube is the second largest search engine, Google is the first largest search engine, everything is online. Oh, and look up a guy his name's Gary Vee, but he's not Gary Vee the singer, his name is Gary Vee, VEE, I think it's British or something, but I've been watching him for the past month already, and he's very inspirational, and anything you want to learn about personal branding, watch it from him. And he built Casey Neistat, he built so many other people. Research, due diligence.
So my advice, I guess, would be to build your audience first and foremost, because when you have an established following, then you have greater power and leverage to launch your business. And another tip is to aim for consistency and not viralism. Because it's easy to have a viral video, but it's in the long run, it helps to have a consistent audience that keeps coming back, expecting your content every, I don't know, Monday at 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? So stick to being consistent and don't try to be viral.
So thank you. I think the key takeaway for me is about consistency, being true to who you are, and that's the starting point, and ensuring that you stay consistent all throughout. Whether you're dealing with brands or actually extending your own personal brand into merchandise or to other events and activities that you can work off of. So thank you so much for our panel today. Round of applause for everyone on stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Gabby.